Hello everyone. This is a series of videos are going to handle one of the most fancy and most important GIS platform that handle the spatial information using advanced analyses on the spatial information that you have or you can create this spatial information. So Arc GIS is one of the best platform that you can handle your spatial information. And actually there's another a big software which is QGIS. Let's now start with ArcMap, which is a part of the programs that will be downloaded as a part of the Arc GIS package. So when you download the Arc GIS from S3, so you will find all of these programs downloaded, and now we will focus on the ArcMap, which is this one, and when you open it, it will open this window. So let's focus on this window right now. You will find that the menu up there, which has everything, the file, so you can open, close, save, and import data and add data from it. And here you can undo, redo, like any software. And here is how to view the data, the layout, and here's some bookmarks, and here if you want to insert a picture object, and this is a selection, and this is one of the important thing in the ArcMap, which is the geoprocessing. And here there's customize, which you can add a toolbar here, and all of these toolbars you can add from, so like draw, edit, editor, effects, feature, geocoding, geodatabase, and a lot of toolbars. And here's some extensions and windows that you can open and also help. So yeah, so this is like how is the bar look like. Sometimes I need to show some bars like toolbars. I always need the editor, so I need this one, and I put it up there, and I can put another toolbar. Here is, yeah, they are not there, so you can say georeferencing if I need it. Yeah, so I can add it here, and among other bars that I needed, so I can put it up there. Yeah, so let's talk about one of the most important things that we call basics. So if you need to deal with this software, you will have to be familiar with the term that which is shapefile. So let's now say, what is the shapefile? Okay, let's. All right, so shape file. So now we have data. So we need to import this data here in this platform. We need this data here. So how does the data look like? So almost all of our data come in different forms. It could be point, could be a line, could be polygon. So the point could be like if I have a city and the city have buildings. I have a building here and building there, and here is the point that represent each building. So points could represent building location, could represent a transmission power tower. So it could represent you have a transportation network, so it could be an intersection. So the point could represent many different applications. And what about the lines? The lines, if you have a transportation network, so the road could be a line. So from point to point could be a transmission line, and it could be many other applications. And let's talk about polygons. Polygons are like, could be buildings, something like that. So I have a building here, I could represent it with polygon, or I could represent it with point. So shapefile is like when you say you have a text file, so you put .text or XLSX or CSV file. So our shapefile will be SHB. So this is how the data will be stored. So when we have data or we create data, so we have a shapefile or create a shapefile. So it will be something like that. Let's open up a shapefile. So it will be something like this, .shp. So this is the data. So let's see how can we import this data to our GIS platform. So we can add the data using different ways. So you can go to File and say Add Data. So you can click on Add Data. Or from this button here, you can add data. And also, you can go from Catalog and say Add Folder Connection, and you connect your folder. Your folder will show up here. Let's do it. So if we go there and I make a connection with C folder with my laptop, coastal cities, let's say coastal cities. So yeah, my folder will show here, and I can go to the shapefiles, and afterwards all my data will show like this. So let's see how's this data look like. So if it shows something like this line, that means this is a line data. If it shows like polygons, so this is a polygon data. If it shows like 3 dots like this, so it will be a point data. So how about importing this? So all what you have to do is just to drag this here. You will put it here, just to drag it, so it will be something like that. It will take seconds to upload it. So this is a point data. So this data represents a city, buildings within a city. So let's import another shapefile. So this shapefile will show something. Let's import waveland line boundary. Yeah, just to drag it up here, so it shows you line here. Whenever you drag a data into your working area, so it will shows here in the layers. So it's something like a layers. So when you put data, so it's a layer above layer. So what we put right now is just waveland building points, which is that layer, and another layer of the waveland line boundaries. So let's go and add a waveland polyline here. So this is the third type of data, which is the polygon, which is one polygon represent the city boundaries, and this is the line boundary. If I want to deactivate any of these, so I just click on that here, so it will show off on. So now this is my data. Let's make a fancy thing. Yeah, so let's add a base map. So what is the base map? The base map is just something like you want to show the map of this area. So this is just points. So all what I have to do, as I told you before, you'll go here and add a base map. So there's different base maps that you could add. There's imagery map, something like that. There's a street map, topographic map, national map. So let's do an imagery map. So it will show the real location of this building. So this we are going to add a layer among here within our working area. It takes like 30 seconds until it get loaded. So yeah, here we go. So it says this map is a world imagery with geographic coordinate system, which we'll talk about in a little bit, which it says geographic coordinate system WGS World Geodetic System 1984. If you want to transform this map to other geographic coordinate system, you can make a transformation from here. Okay, let's close this. I accept to be on that. Yeah. All right. So yeah, the green point shows the location of my building within this map. So if I want to change the color, so I would just click on this point and make it a red color, and I can increase the size, and I can say okay. So here's how it shows where is my building is. You can zoom in to your building so you can see it. Yeah, so here is the location of each building in terms of a point. Something like that. Yeah, so if we zoom in a little bit, so you will see how is the building look like, and how is our point shapefile represent the location of each building. Yeah, it's a little bit heavy, it takes some time. Sometimes it depends on your computer and your internet and how fast it is and how fast is your computer. Alright, so yeah. Here it is. Let's add another shapefile. Let's see if we have, yeah, waveland building polygons. Yeah, if I drag it here, so it will shows each building, it will represent each building as a polygon. Yeah, whenever you make a process, so it will take some time. It depends on how big is your data and how fast is your computer and your internet. Okay, let's show our polygons. Yeah, now our polygons show up. If you zoom in, you can see oh yeah, it's still loading here, so we need to wait. We have to wait. Right. All right. So let's talk about one important thing about each one of these. So let's talk about the point shapefile. So if I click on this point shapefile, it will say, do you want to copy it, remove it, or open attribute tables? This is one of the most important things in this list. So if I said I want to open the attribute table, so the attribute table contains the property of each building, the properties of each building. What is the location of each building? Where is this point at? What does this point represent? You want to give us certain properties to this point, like the building versus floor elevation, the building roof type, the building foundation type, the building structure system. So you can give this point different properties. So let's open this, open attribute table. Yeah, let's make it bigger. Yeah, so each column, so the attribute table is like an Excel sheet that shows the properties of each point. So each row represents a point. So if I clicked on these rows and zoom out, yeah, zooming in and zoom out, we have a problem. So let's escape this. Let's go back to the attribute table. Okay, so each row represents 1 point. So point 0, the ID is 0, its point. This is another ID and another ID, and this is if it has poly area and perimeter and shape length, shape area, another ID, and the Z, which is the elevation, and ground elevation, versus floor elevation, surge archetype, wind archetype, flood archetype. So all these are properties that we give to this point, and we can add more. So I can say add field. We will talk more about these properties in the future, but I'm just like giving an overview and how's this thing is working. So we can add a field, and this field will be a column and define properties, new property to each column. Yeah, let's go here, zoom to the layer, go back. Yeah, and the same is here. If I set open attribute table, so it will show the properties of the lines that I have that represent the city. Yeah, so I have only one polyline, which is the city boundary, and this is the area and the perimeter and among other properties. And this is the polygon, so if I open the attribute table, it will give me some properties about these polygons and the Z and among other properties. Yeah, here is how it looks. So this is one point selected. If I want to unselect this point, or what I have to do is just a clear selected from here. It should be clear. Yeah, let's hide this and hide that. Yeah, so this is just an introduction, shows how's everything working and how's our software look like, and how we add a shapefile or delete a shapefile or attribute table, how it looks like and what does it mean. And also we edited some feature here. We can change the colors, and we learned all of that. So it will be like a small videos. Each video we will introduce new information to that program, so everyone could be familiar with how's everything working. Yeah. So let's now talk about what is the importance of what we are doing on ArcGIS. So as engineers, how this would benefit our career. So let's talk about things. So right now, what we did is just studied buildings. So I have a building like this. Yes, this is my building. All what we do, just like I have some columns, some beams. Let's design these columns, these beams. And if I'm like a good structural engineer, let's design some shear walls. We have it over there, and let's design this building. But what ArcGIS can do, it just like move you from building to community. You have a river in this community, you have a lot of buildings, you have many structure types, schools, hospitals, office buildings, a lot of buildings, and you have infrastructure, you have bridges, you have transportation system, you have power network, you have water network, you have a complex system, which is the community. So what we can do here is just like moving from modeling the building to modeling the community. You'll ask me what is the details that we can model for the community. So you have a building, you have its capacity, number of stories, you have a structure system, you have foundation type, you have roof shape, you have, like, we could say area, we could say location, perimeter, and among a lot of information about this building. It's only one building. You have all of this information about this building. This is how to model the building. You need all of this information. If you have the structure system, the capacity in wind, seismic, flood, tsunami, all of these capacities, and you have the structure system. So now you can model a building because you have all of this information about this building. So you can move this information to that building here and put it in the database that represent the building, the attribute table that I just showed you a minute before. So you have all of these information, you can put it here. I have building 1, I can add the structure system, the foundation system, the capacity of the building, the number of stories. You can add it here for building 1, and we can add it here for buildings 2, 3, 4, 5, and we can add all the buildings in the community. Same thing with the bridges, same thing with the transportation system, same thing with the water network. And you can model the whole community. If you model this community, you can give this community a hazard, like let's hit this community with an earthquake, something like this. And now this earthquake will not hit a building. We are not giving this earthquake to that building. We are giving this earthquake to that whole community. So now we are moving from building to community. We will not be able to make that huge change without moving from modeling the building in a finite element platform, but we will need to model the community in a GIS platform. So if I have all of the information about this building and the interdependencies between these networks and infrastructure and the built environment, so we can hit this building with an earthquake, with a tsunami, with a flood, with tornadoes. So we can move our analysis from building to community by modeling the buildings into a GIS platform. So this is the importance of having a GIS knowledge, and this is the modern design of the community. We need to not design a building by itself that represents itself. We need to design a community that is fully integrated, that can resist hazard, that is highly resilient to natural hazard. So we will not be able to do this by only looking for one building. We need to look for the whole community. So this is the importance of having information about our GIS platform. So let's stop now, and we can continue and introducing Arc GIS for the next videos. Started with basic thing up to advanced things and more advanced videos after videos. Just keep watching this video, and if you have any questions, just leave it in the comments. Thank you guys, and